First up, Andriana Alexis is a 2013 University of Portland graduate in organizational communications, among many roles at UP. She was a campus volunteer coordinator, vice president of Black Student Union, a tutor at Roosevelt High School, and a representative on the State of Oregon Student Advisory Board. Will you please ask your question of His Holiness? Here comes the microphone.
Hello. So we had some questions that were submitted beforehand, so we're going to ask the ones that we chose from that pile. I want to make a difference and make the world a better place, but I also don't want to spend all of my time worrying about what might happen in the future. How do we balance living in the moment while working on a difficult long-term goal?
Change worldwide, initiative must come from individual. So, for example, compassionate world, peaceful world must come through inner peace. So, up to individual. Initiative must start from individual level. So when we look world problem, then you, one individual, oh, I cannot do. But this is, I think, wrong. Like when those who in those one
just as when you drop a pebble into a lake, you can see the ripple effects going further and further.
So you individual should try to sort of promote within yourself these basic values. Then once you see the more compassionate sort of feeling and sense of care, sense of concern of others' well-being develop, then automatically your physical action, verbal action, even if it's sort of facial sort of expression, is more positive. That brings friendship, and that creates certain positive atmosphere wherever you live. One family, eventually that kind of, sort of atmosphere, that kind of habit, then another 10 families, 100 families, 1,000 families. That's the way. Then, once you see the positive motivation here, sense of concern of others' well-being, there, every your action related with that. Even business, making money, but with that motivation, from your, or say the profit, use more others' well-being. I don't know, to working in a sort of weapons factory, I don't know. That's I don't know. So eventually, the world, once we truly develop new method solving conflict through dialogue, once you see that, spirit, then no use military forces. Then we can think seriously, demilitarize the world. And then I think it is quite pity, very brilliant scientists, you see, use their brilliant brain for how to kill human being. It's sad. No matter how high salary, but actually work is, you see, use their wonderful brain for destruction. Sad. So That also I think we should consider very seriously, step by step, how to reduce military expenses. Then eventually they demilitarize the world. Clear?
His Holiness, thank you for
When-
that answer. Andriana, thank you for the question. Next up, Jordan Matson. More?
Not completed.
Oh,
not completed.
more. Come back up here. Excuse me, His Holiness.
Oh, it is my sort of, I said, the bad habit. Once I open my mouth, then always continuously blah, 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 like that. So you see, with sincere, compassionate motivation, then every your action, activities for salary, for earning, can be positive, clear. If negative motivation here, too much self-centered attitude, even preaching, teaching, also become destructive, clear. So if positive motivation develop here, then carry all your activities carried by that kind of motivation, then every your action become non-violence, become constructive. So, you see the kasota, the practice of serving, you see the promotion of kasote, kasachuti, inner values, not separated from your daily activities or different professions. Clear. And if you see, join some kind of say, education field, then very relevant. Or medical field, very directly relevant, right? Like that. So, now finished my answer. Now next question.
Thank you, His Holiness. Thank you for the question. Our next student is Jordan Matson, a senior social work major.
Hi. All right, so the question is, after the recent bombing in Boston, I'm curious about ways we can work to stop hatred that is motivated by religion. How do you attempt to have the interfaith dialogue with people who have no interest in it at all?
Kasa. This morning's session, you are there or not? Oh, then you already heard these things. Eh? So, as I mentioned earlier, one, you see, like you see French, German, and during war, Japanese and American, and German and American. It's a very, very negative sort of anger. With that moment, the mind sort of fully controlled by anger, hatred, then desire to kill your enemy as much as possible. So use atom bomb like that. But that mind, temporary, always changing, through awareness, through education, through personal conduct. So at that moment, say, you see, so much sort of hatred each other, then you see, cannot imagine eventually become something 100% changed or different. Unthinkable. But time passes and makes some, not necessarily effort, but new environment, new reality comes, will go. On top of that, effort. As far as religion is concerned, this morning we already discussed it, this kind of sort of meeting. And then media also have important role. So must show this sort of same potential of all these different traditions. And then some mischievous people always happen. I think out of 7 billion, at least few hundred mischievous people always there. We cannot control. Whether God created or not, mischievous people always there. So sometimes I sort of telling people our sort of vision, the world, demilitarized the world. But at the same time, some mischievous people are always there, so some kind of mobile, small, efficient forces is, I think, necessary in order to deal with handful mischievous people sort of that behavior, action. I think, like you see some of these sort of recent sort of say, including September 11th event, and even within Muslim country like Pakistan, you see some terrorists, you see there. So these, we have to sort of work. We have to work, as I teach you, tirelessly, because of closer understanding, reconciliation, forgiveness. Then can change. So this moment, the other fully sort of develop their negative emotion, then difficult to reach out. But with patience, constant effort will change. This is my view. Good, thank you.
Next question. Thank you so much. Thank you, His Holiness, for that answer. Charity Taylor is a 2013 University of Portland graduate in political science. She's been a member of the President's Advisory Committee on Sustainability, a resident assistant, and was president of the mock trial team, which this year sent 2 teams to nationals for the first time in school history. Charity, what is your question for His Holiness?
A lot of news and research about the state of the environment is very depressing. How do we maintain hope? How do we try to ease the suffering climate change will bring to numerous communities around the world?
Yes, now. I think this morning also I mentioned the population rapidly increasing, particularly in those areas, the economically little weak, poor, the birth rate quite sort of high. Better sort of, also economically better sort of society because less birth rate. Yeah. And anyway, and then natural disaster, I think, frankly speaking, I think will increase because of changing the whole sort of the galaxy's movement like that. And then each individual sort of, the planet is also, you see, there, I think, because of that position is changing. These are beyond our control. Then, but basically, I think, as far as I think our own sort of created problem is concerned, early part of 20th century, in the later part of 20th century, I think big change. Early part, I think different nations, citizen, when the nation declare war, every citizen, without slightest question, join proudly war effort. That kind of, sort of attitude changed the later part of 20th century. Like during Vietnam War, many Americans expressed their sort of disagreement through demonstration of these things. Then Iraq crisis about to happen. From Australia up to the United States, I think millions of people come out. So I'm against war, violence. So that's, I think, clear sign humanity, generally speaking, really fed up about violence and really keen peace or non-violence. And then also environment issue. My own life, in early part of my life, no knowledge, no sort of, no awareness. Then later, through awareness, then gradually, I fully committed about environment issue. Even, you see, later part of 20th century, even political party, new political party, their main concern is ecology. So, Green Party also happened. Originally, that's the idea. But later, I don't know, some Green Party become like a normal party like that. So in any way, and then important is, I think, after Second World War, during Cold War, you see both sides, Warsaw Pact, NATO, you see, really, you see, prepare, you see, some big conflict out of fear. That after Berlin Wall disappeared, that eventually disappeared. Not by force, but by popular movement. Very clear. Then I think within 20th century, the new political sort of concept, totalitarian system, after Bolshevik revolution, that kind of sort of system within the same century changed. This not by force, but by popular movement. Very clear. Then another thing, in the past, science and spirituality is something to separate. Now, later part of 20th century, the scientific research highly developed. Then they gradually, you see, develop the concept mind and mind and reality, something very, very close. So in scientific field, now they sort of not exclude about mind, importance of mind. Now scientific field itself, because there are sort of knowledge about brain activities, they automatically now develop some sort of the curiosity about the emotion and relation, mind, brain, like that. Previously, you see, some hardliner scientists, they simply dismiss existence of mind, emotion. But that now some kind of bridge now developing. So these are, I think, big change within same century. Now this 21st century is follower, continuation of the later part of 20th century. I think, and then again, I think the many occasions when I refer modern education system need some kind of sort of effort dealing with moral ethics. When I give you these points mentioned, in India or Europe or America and many places, audience really responds very, very strongly. So these are indication. Our sort of concept now becoming more widened and more realistic, more deeper. So this is the sign of hope. Clear. So, and sometimes you see, some people you see have the sort of the impression now we human being basic nature is something negative. So the future of humanity is doomed. That's wrong. Basic human nature, as I mentioned earlier there, we come from our mother with tremendous sort of affection from our mother. So basically, we are more compassionate in nature, and therefore automatically our basic nature is more gentleness. And obviously, now newspaper or media, if some murder things happen, then immediately report. Actually, thousands of children, thousands of older people receiving affection, serving from out of affection, not report. Why? Basic nature, you see, affection, taking care, take for granted, killing, something unusual. So therefore, basic human nature is more gentleness, more compassionate. So think that way, then no reason to feel pessimistic attitude. There is solid ground, be optimistic. I believe that, and accordingly, I think in spite of many difficulties, I survived. If too much sort of the pessimistic hopelessness, then certainly I lost my sleep, I will lose digestion, then I think more wrinkles. But remain here, more optimism, more hope, in spite of some difficulties. My mind always fresh. Except you see, few white now, number of white hair now here. I think these people may not see now more and more white hair. There's one way sign of age, but one way sign of experience, sign of wisdom. So basically, be optimistic. Pessimistic attitude is the real source of failure. Good? Finished.
Thank you, His Holiness. Thank you, Charity, for the question. Jessica Morales has our next question. She's a junior at the University of Portland studying marketing and sustainability. She's held several leadership roles on campus, both in her dorm and with the campus programming board. Jessica, what is your question for His Holiness?
How can interfaith cooperation and dialogue help people understand our collective responsibility to both current and future generations, especially to take action to preserve and restore the environment?
I think I have no sort of practical sort of ideas or suggestions. No, I think like this morning sort of also they are gathering. This kind of meeting, from time to time, should take place in each city or each sort of place. Then educate public through media, like sort of the articles or some talks in television show like that. And then eventually, I think, I noticed in France, I think Lyon or something, I think there is some kind of group or organization who actually meant for promotion of religious harmony. So member from all different religious traditions together. So that kind of sort of the organization, I think, useful. And then that organization is to tour different sort of district or different sort of area within the state, and then talk. And also occasionally is to visit school or college and talk these things. Maybe then these activities should be kasulta tarchar tarcha kasore tujujig member tujujig yam member che korada kodi yang chepharchi.
So if we can ensure that the kind of gathering that we saw this morning just doesn't remain, one event, but if we could make them kind of more regular, then it will begin to have effect.
So that's my view.
Thank you for the question.
Then also,
His Holiness.
sorry.
Forgive me.
And then also, like I think, it's got a city level, or district level, or these occasionally organize. You see, people from different sort of religious group, and discuss the current situation, more serious discussion. Then some problem about to happen, then from that sort of group, visit and talk. In India, some occasion, I suggested, at least this is, in India, the Hindu, Muslim, Jains and Buddhist, and usually it's a very good sort of relations. So some group like in Burma, things also happen. If you see some permanent group, then from that group, some representative go this troubled area and meet people and talk. Just to see from distance some suggestion, not that way, but go on spot and then meet these people. As I mentioned, or lunchtime, as I mentioned, lunchtime, you see these sort of the hostile group meet together and talk by third person, then gradually you see their intensity of emotion can cool down. So that's the way. You simply criticize from outside, not sufficient. Go there, talk, through reasons, through example. I think that's the way. This is my suggestion. Thank you.